Hi, I'm Kevin Hill, and today we're going to do another fun painting. So let's get started. We'll start off today with the 1-inch brush, a little bit of yellow and white. And let's just come right up here and begin to drop in a nice little glow here in the sky. Just allow that color to work around. Not too much, just a little. Next, with a nice light purple color, we can just come right up here to the top and drop in a nice little touch of color. You don't need much. It's got a nice little blue cast to it. And let that work down. Nice. Add a little bit more red and you can kind of change the color as you go. Just along the top. Change to a clean brush and then blend it together. This is just a background. Most of it will get covered up. Now with the 1-inch brush, we'll just tap in a nice little, very distant background mountain or foothill. Doesn't really make much difference what it is. I'm just brushing in some color here. Set that brush down, pick up a clean one, and just blend it and make it soft. Again, this is kind of just background material. We don't need a lot of detail or texture. Make it nice and soft. Maybe even you can kind of lift up a few little trees. Now with the filbert brush and a little bit of blue, black, and white, let's just come right over here and drop in a couple of trees. Now as you can see, I have a bunch of little squiggly lines up there. You're probably wondering what those are for. Well, those are so I kind of know where I want some of my big groupings of leaves. I want to leave areas like this and maybe over in here open. And if you don't have a little map, these are going to be leaves in here. If you don't have a map, you might accidentally cover up more than you wanted to. So that's what I have that for. You may want to do the same. Kind of just helps us know where we're going. Now, before we go too far, let's just tap in some nice little leaves here. See, I'm just using the tip of the filbert and really making it pretty solid here. And then as you come out, so you can kind of just leave tiny little holes. We kind of see the sky showing through. And that's nice. It's a great little effect. Kind of follow your map because we already planned out where we want these leaves. There. See that? Bring them right out into the little area where we're not going to paint in. Nice. Just gives us an overall effect like we're kind of looking through a lot of trees. We're going to even do some more tree trunks in this area. Now with the filbert brush and some yellow and green, we can just begin to highlight these trees. Now maybe sunlight's kind of coming across like this. Maybe we'll have some more trees. So kind of think about that as you highlight. You don't have to highlight everywhere the same. Make some areas bright and some areas not as bright. And just tap with the filbert. Each time you tap the same area, it will get a little bit softer, a little bit more quiet. There. Create all these nice little limb shapes. And you can vary the colors. Throw some red in there. Just change it up. Throw a little more green. Maybe make it darker. Now we can make a few trees that go in front of these leaves. They help to kind of push everything back into the distance. They should be a little bigger and a little darker than the other ones we just did. You can do them even over here in the very dark areas because they'll still show up. Nice. And maybe let's just keep doing them. Just a few more. Some that are kind of tiny and some that are quite large. There's a whole lot of trees back here. Reload the brush after every 1 or 2 trees to make sure the paint is still dark. Now with a little bit of brown and white on the knife, we can just very carefully put in a little bit of a rock or a little cliff back here. I even had it sketched in before because I already thought I might want one right here. Kind of keeps me on track. All right, Now there's the first color. Pick up the same color with a little bit more white. And see that just sparkle on a little bit of highlight. So you have 3 colors in that rock. The original dark, the middle tone, and then this nice light, maybe even a little touch of pure white. Nice little highlight. Now with the filbert and some black and green. We'll sort of take a break from the left side there and start working on the right side. But we're really going to do a lot of the same things. Maybe this side's a little darker. So we'll just kind of get a tree in there pretty quick. Just the basic outline. You can brush it in, and then you can tap lightly to get the little leaf textures out on the ends. Now with the knife, we can just add on a little bit of highlight here to some of these trees. We don't have to do them all. I'll just set the knife down right along the edge, and you see it just leaves a little bit of paint. Take the small edge of the knife, then gently grab it and wrap it around the tree. There, it kind of gives you a nice little look. Come back with a little bit of a lighter color and just sort of go along the edge. Nice. And sometimes just the light color on the edge is enough. There. Nice. So you can kind of pick out little tiny things where there wasn't anything at all before. Now maybe it's time to kind of paint in this background area. So maybe we'll just have it come down like this. And I don't know, just kind of follow the angle that you want it to slope at, like that. And we'll throw some highlight on there in just a second and blend it back. See that? Create a nice little area. In fact, maybe, let me set that brush down, pick up a fan brush, load it up real quick with some yellow and green we had laying around. We can just tap some grass right over that. With the 1-inch brush and some black and green, we can just begin to underpaint the land areas here. And as you can see, I kind of did some more sketching with the filbert brush. Again, just so I would know where I want this dark color. That's all. I wouldn't want to put it down here in the little dirt cliff area because it would kind of harm what I'm doing. I don't want that green paint in there. There we go, nice and dark. And it doesn't take too long to do this. Just a second to throw this dark color in. A little bit on this side too. Now with the filbert brush, we can just rub in some water. Now maybe in our painting today, our little water area, it's quite shallow. So in some certain areas, we'll see the ground below showing through the water. But in some areas, we won't. So we'll just start by adding this nice light color in. And then over here, if you want to just touch into some dark, watch this. We can get beautiful little reflections in the water. Now with the filbert brush, we can just begin to highlight some of these little bank areas where the cliff kind of drops off. So you just pick out individual ones and then throw some highlight and then work the highlight back darker and darker. It gives you a nice little round effect, nice 3-dimensional effect. Now with the fan brush and some yellow and green, maybe a touch of red, we can just tap in some nice little grassy areas here. Now you could use the 1-inch brush for this. It doesn't really matter too much. I kind of like the texture the fan brush gives me. But be careful you don't get little stamps. You don't want to see little fan brush stamps because that doesn't look as good. Use a series and combination of little hits to give you your nice little grassy textures. Now back to the filbert brush and a lot of nice dark black. Let's come right here and begin to drop in another big tree. Maybe this big tree kind of comes down a little further than that. Let's have him come all the way down like this. And that way, that kind of helps to bring us forward in the painting. We'll highlight it and it'll stand right out from the background. Now with a little bit of brown and white on the knife, we'll just add on a touch of highlight. We don't need a whole lot. We certainly do want enough that it stands out. We can see it very clearly. Now with the liner brush, we can add in a few nice little limbs here. See this? We'll just kind of drag across and get these extremely fine lines. This liner brush comes to a really sharp point. So sharp that when the paint's the right consistency, you can get lines that are so tiny you can only see them when you get really close to the painting. Now, using the tip of the liner brush, we can actually just kind of dot in a few large leaves here. It's actually quite an easy technique, and it's fun to do. It helps to create depth in the painting by bringing us forward. The shapes are getting larger. See, you just do these little clusters of leaves. They look big and close, and I think you'll like doing them. They're kind of fun. Just the tip of the liner brush. That's all it takes. Now with the 1 inch, we can just tap in a little bit of texture here at the bottom. The paint's already dark, so all we're looking to do is just add some nice details here in the foreground. We need the stipple texture here. There. And then just go directly right into some yellow, some green. Just tap the brush. And then you can lay on just a little bit of highlight. Now with the filbert brush, we can just drop in a nice little rock here, right in the foreground. And just brush it in with this, just black, that's all it is. Black on the filbert brush. This helps to bring us forward in the painting. It'll help to really cause that nice depth that we always try to make. All right, set that brush down, grab a knife, a little bit of just brown and white that's laying around, left over. And just rub a little bit of that on very lightly. All right, well, I think we're done. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Don't forget to check out my website, my DVDs, and also my brush line. And thanks for watching.